Welcome back to Winds of Change, fellow dazzlers and the new players alike. What's going on, everybody? Hey, Razzle bringing you the Act 4 finale. You all are lucky, because you're getting this, like, one after the other if I upload these like I'm supposed to when I get done with this. Because, I mean, yeah, you guys have to wait for me to actually get off my arse and start uploading Act 4, but, you know, for us it was like, oh, we got Act 1, part of Act 4, then we got another part of Act 4, then we had to wait for the finale, which we're going to be getting here. So, for those of you who came in late, pretty much what we did was we bebopped down to Alarinthia. We met with Vivien, who was a guy, not a girl. Bebopped down to Dracyu's castle, palace, whatever. Dracyu seemed to know Vivien was going to challenge him, and Pro, of all people, pledged allegiance to Dracyu. So now we're in a situation where we're going to have to be fighting our own soldiers, our own rebellion soldiers, because he pledged some soldiers as well. It seems like Pro is up to something, but we'll just have to find out and see. So, without any further ado, I think this is it right here, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get started. Alright, so here we are. Now, it is a couple steps until we get to the finale, so let's go ahead and just get through this here. I make my way to the Colosseum alongside Dracyu and some of his soldiers. By the way, all of this content here, I'll let you know. You'll know when we reach the finale, because the game will tell you, like we did with Act 3. So anyways, it's a massive, towering structure, almost putting the castle to shame. It makes sense that it'd be bigger. Alarinthia was all about fighting. Well, here we are. If you head on inside, you'll find your allies. After that, you'll all be escorted to a private room. You'll have a few moments to prepare once you're there. But I'd say within the next hour or two, the battle will be over. They don't last very long if both sides have prepared enough. Sounds like a game of Rainbow Six Siege. He crosses his arms and looks at me dismissively. You may wonder why I'm doing this, even though you sided against me. The answer to that is, it's in my nature to show my enemies some kindness. I do not kill in cold blood. I will mourn you and honor your memory, Razzle. It's a noble thing to die for your beliefs. Perhaps your memory will inspire future generations. Generations that can go on to be killed, just like you. He steps forward, looking me dead in the eye. I do not expect to lose to Vivien. I've killed far stronger than him. Some would call you foolish for your choice. With a smile, he lets out a soft laugh. But I'm not one of those people. As I said, I treat my enemies with kindness. You may have realized it, but that's why I held the ball. But the ball is over, so I must find another way to be kind. And that is showing you a swift, painless end in the Colosseum. You wish to die for your beliefs. It would be my honor to aid you. After saying, okay. I just realized my mic was not set properly, so apologize for the weird different in the beginning, but here we go. After saying these harsh words, he enters the Colosseum. I have no choice but to follow him as the guards block any avenue of escape. There's no way we do this. We'd have Ulric on our side. He's a match for Dracyu. Ah, we gotta see what... Oh yeah, by the way, Sophie also got thrown out of the Inquisition for trying to lie to them about what happened. Halen threw him under the bus, so... Let's see what he's up to. Sophie looks at the ocean, watching the ripples and waves. He remains silent, attracting the suspicion of the captain. Approaching Sophie, he attempts to converse to pass the time. Looks like it shouldn't be longer than a few more hours, but I have to ask, what brings you to Alarinthia? It's probably better for you not to know. I don't want to involve people in my problems. Involve away? What else are we going to do? You pay me tenfold to take you and you alone. How do you expect me not to question that? I expect you to do the job you were paid for. Anything else is unnecessary, don't you agree? Look, the way I see it, we're friends here. You need a ferryman back, I'd love to help you out. Shoot me with the cold shoulder and you get stranded. I don't know why I have Vivien talk like this. Just randomly came to mind. Is that a threat? Of course not, I'm just curious. Here, let's start with the basic. What kind of work do you do? You already know what I do for a living. Don't you think I deserve to know that as a courtesy? I don't care if you're breaking the law or anything like that. No, I'm not breaking the law, but honestly, I don't know how to answer your question. I guess you could say that I'm between things right now. And why is that? I thought it was time to seek out better opportunities. Huh? In Alarinthia? To be honest, I have no idea. I just know some people who might be there. Talking to them should get things on the right track. What line of work are you in? I guess you could say I seek out information. Nothing pleases me greater than learning the truth, but the people I worked for were less than honest. Lied to you by your bosses? Join the club. They'll do anything to save face to get in the way. That's the point of why I work on my own. Now I get you. The captain scoffs, surprised at Sophie's earlier hesitance. Told you so silent for word to open up about. Trust me, once everyone knows what it's like, I hope your next opportunity is more fruitful. I can only hope. What did I do about? Everything. Then I can see why you run away. Excuse me? I just mean, it's totally understandable. Sophie steps towards the captain, clenching his fists. He brings himself face to face as if trying to intimidate. I'm not running away. I'm doing what's right. The captain matches his gaze, taking one step forward. He didn't give in to Sophie's intimidation. He was an even match. Sometimes running away is the right thing to do. They stare at each other until Sophie backs away. Something was different. Normally he would stand his ground, but he no longer served the triumvirate. He had nothing to prove. I'm sorry, you're right. I didn't mean to start something on your boat. Once we get to Alarinthia, you'll never see me again. Does there need to go that far? Don't misunderstand me. I've got your back. I'm not the only man who's run away, you know. Why else do you think I live at sea? Sometimes I don't set foot on land for weeks at a time. I'd prefer to be out here. I live on my own terms. I'm free. Free, Yeah, there's no better way to live. Imagine not being shackled by high-ups. You're fully capable of making your own decisions. Sophie sighs and looks down at the ground. It was his own decision that got him into this mess to begin with. But even though the triumvirate wasn't pleased, he stood by his actions. That would be wonderful. I've been a subordinate for my entire life, you know. I think it's finally time I carved my own path. Oh, snap. That's, interesting. Now, let's go to the main atrium. I enter the Colosseum and quickly scan the area for my friends. A massive flame bursts in the center of the room, making the heat even worse. I wonder why they do something like that. This place confuses me sometimes. Dracyu is nowhere to be seen. Perhaps he's already in the private room. I notice Valessa, Fortum, and Howell standing far away from the flame. No sign of anybody else, though. I decide to approach them and ask what's up. They turn to me and smile, while Howell shows the face of complete indifference, of course. I can't believe how cool this place is. Too bad I can't actually enjoy it. I'm super stressed. I'm worried that we might lose somebody today. Have we actually worked out who's fighting? I mean, which of our members are joining Dracu's reserve forces? The leader and champion we know, but what about everybody else? Hal steps forward. Ulric fights with Vivien. Pro fights with Dracyu. Vivien's reserve forces are part of his own army. Dracu's reserve forces were barred from our army. We believe using the Monarch vessels would be the best idea. We wouldn't want to put any more of our remaining forces at risk. If we win, our allegiance will make the sacrifice worthwhile. If it is unfortunate that we will have to kill our own. But we cannot change what Bro has set in motion. All we can do is try to focus on taking Dracu's life. He looks at me. As for Valessa's question, the Monarch will fight among Vivien's reserve forces. Razzle, this is important for a leader to fight for their beliefs. No delegations at times like this. This means that several of our key members will be put in harm's way. It may be impossible for us to avoid the loss of our reserve forces. We may be able to win without losing any of our comrades. We must simply focus on the lives of Vivien and Dracyu. He crosses his arms, speaking sternly. It's more of a demand than a request. Do your best to kill Dracyu before any harm can come to Bro or Ulric. We have the best option to mitigate our losses, so we must take it. No pressure or anything like that. So you'll be safe, Howell? Along with myself and Fortune? What about Dominic? He ran off with Pro and Ulric. I suppose we'll find out. We should head to the private room and prepare. The battle will be starting in a matter of minutes. Dominic ran off with both champions? That's odd. I guess they've been close friends for a long time, though. Perhaps he just wants a chance to say goodbye to them. The odds of survival for everybody involved were less than stellar. But there was nothing we could do. Everything was put into place. Let's go ask him ourselves, Razzle. This whole ordeal is kind of confusing. For a while, I was scared I'd have to fight. Yeah, some. Yeah, same. I was really worried. But now I feel bad that I'm just going to watch. This whole situation is so messed up. This is less than ideal, yes. But we cannot change our circumstances. Let us gather together for last-minute preparations. Only if we prepare for the coming storm can we avoid tragedy. If we stand here any longer, the odds of losing our comrades will grow. Do not let the enemy gain the upper hand. That has happened enough. He points to a nearby staircase. It must lead to the private room. Everything was happening so fast, I could use a few moments to plan. One last team huddle before the fight would help. We need to minimize our losses. We need to make We need to make this without losing Pro or Ulric. If such a thing is even possible, we'll find out how to do it. And if not, well, I don't know what I'd do. Alright, well, looks like we got an H2H with the big man here. Howell stands in the middle of the Colosseum lobby, staring deep into the flames. It looks like he's lost in thought. He whispers to himself, but unable to discern his words. I take slow, cautious steps towards him, curious to see what he's doing, but like always, he reacts before I can initiate the conversation. We know you'd be there, Razzle. I take a few steps back and cross my arms. He turns to face me, looks into my eyes. A few steps backwards, as always. But away from what? Do you fear us? No, you mustn't. You still choose to talk with us. Join us and we shall look into the flames together. Like our vision, it is always changing, never the same. We thought about this a lot since we talked on the boat. He turns back to face the flames and I stand by his side. Together we look into the flames, the heat assailing us. It feels almost unbearable at first, but I soon get used to it. I know what you're feeling, Monarch. We felt the same when our vision first went astray, but now we find ourselves asking, is it actually astray? Seeing both the future and the past, is it really bad? For example, we see Dracyu win the battle, but also Vivien. We see Pro fall, and Ulric fall. We even see a future where you fall. Instead of seeing only ahead, we see in every direction. It's almost like a natural evolution of the power we hold. If we can learn to control this, it would be a tremendous boon. The same goes for visions of the past. Different outcomes, different information, secrets revealed. What if we could search these alternate parts for pasts for information? Let us look at the attack on Rebel HQ in Museo. Perhaps a past exists where Dominic found out about it. Not useful now, but I think you see what we're suggesting. It makes sense. He's saying alternative versions of the past. Perhaps versions exist where information comes to light early. If he could learn to control his power, it would help us tremendously. For example, what if a past exists where we didn't bother with Alarinthia? He could search through memories of our attack on Balteus and gain information. Perhaps we've made it far enough to learn the Triumvirate's true identity. That's interesting, huh? But unless he can control his power, it would be useless to speculate. It hurts my head just to think about it, but I've seen alternate futures firsthand. I have to consider the possibility of alternate pasts as well. That stands to reason. This is like a evolution of the power from Major Minor, almost. There's no real explanation for either, so both were oddities. The old monarchy had the power of visions, but where did they come from? Hal turns to face me, the flames illuminating his differently colored eyes. We wish to try and master this ability before the final battle. If we can gain any useful information, we'll enter our attack on Balteus, especially if you can help us uncover any traitors within our ranks. Traitors? The more we think about it, the more it makes sense. In the Rebel HQ, you were lambs to the slaughter. The triumvirate must have been tipped off somehow. Rest assured that if there is a traitor, we will find them. After that, their fate and punishment is yours to decide. It is unlikely that Shane is the only turncoat among you. The thought fills me with fright. Pro even walks the path of disloyalty, siding with Dracyu and making things more complicated. We will keep a closer eye on him. He is most suspicious. But you know, it's always the ones you don't suspect. I must admit, Pro's actions did confuse me. In fact, Razor Fist is playing Super Smash Brothers? As of this recording, I mean, it just popped up. I'm just surprised. I didn't think the Rageaholic was one for that. Anyways, they treat this Colosseum business like afternoon tea. After all this death, it's just a daily, that's just a daily occurrence for them. At least it's kept them introverted. The triumvirate would like that. Those focused on fighting amongst themselves will be less inclined to rebel. There is more to the story than we know. We hope that in the end, an alliance is formed. We'd prefer to leave this nation as soon as possible. An endless cycle of death, creating strength. Each leader falls to someone stronger than themselves. Through death and sacrifice, Alarinthia gains power. We'd prefer to gain power through other means. When you rule the world, Monarch, please consider this. Do not walk down a path similar to the triumvirate. The occupation was a prime example of their nature. They kill others to gain strength, to ensure their rule. It would pain us to see you become like that. It truly would. Yeah, to pretty much be a betrayal of everything we're fighting for. Because you may follow after them without even knowing it. For now, this is all we have to say. There are no other concerns. Next time we talk, perhaps more will have come to light. At least, we hope. I step away, taking his hint. I can see how mastering this new visions would be helpful. But if any traitors are revealed, that would be devastating. These are alternate pasts, he said so himself. What if someone's a traitor only in some far-off past? We could end up punishing someone innocent and loyal. His words were as cryptic as always, especially about cycles. I know I wield the Triumvirate's blade, but I'm not like them. The cycle of death and tyranny would end by my hand alone. I look back over my shoulder, and he's still staring into the flames. Every time I talk to him, he tells me something new about his powers. As we approach our final battle, however, he'd be more rushed than ever. If there are any secrets to be learned, I trust he could do it. But as always, a few major questions find themselves at the top of my list. Who is the Triumvirate? Why did they require purity? Are there any other traitors? It seemed Howell would be key to solving all these mysteries and more. The power that he saw as a curse was now turning into a bountiful source of hope. There was a miracle of changing views. Your curses and faults become strength. And if there's anything that would carry us to victory, it'd be finding that inner strength. Okay. Okay. Time to go to the private room. Ooh. It's not that kind of private room, though. The private room is small and cozy. One lone window provides a view of the arena. We're all able to fit inside without too much discomfort. Dominic seems to be mediating an argument between Ulric and Pro. They look in my direction as I enter, but quickly get back to business. Given the circumstances, it made sense that Ulric and Pro were at odds. Stop being so stubborn, Ulric. We can do this without killing each other. Just focus on the leader. That's all we need to do. I don't think you heard me the first time. There's nothing I won't do to secure victory. He takes heavy steps towards Pro, backing him up against the wall. That means if I have to kill you, I will, and there's no way you're going to convince me otherwise. The future of my nation is at stake. Your life means nothing to me. Dang, Ulric. You're at like a 10 right now. You need to take it down to a 7. Dominic interferes, getting in the way of Ulric. Look, we can figure something out. There's no need for either of you to die. I'll be fighting down there too, so... Ulric quickly cuts him off. Stop controlling everything, Dominic. This isn't even your army anymore. You start acting that way. Dang. But... No. This army belongs to Razzle. He's the one that'll be fighting down there. Besides, planning like that is against the rules. It's a fight to the death no matter what. Conspiring to prevent that displays a lack of honor. I may want to overthrow this nation, but I won't mock it. He tilts his head towards Dracyu, who stands in the corner of the room. Mutual respect. That wasn't something I expected, Ulric. There's nothing I enjoy more than an honorable opponent. It almost makes up for the attempt at crashing my ball. He smirks, a sinister look on his face. But it doesn't mean I'll go easy on you. Where's Vivien, by the way? Did he run? No. He's in a separate room. Something about meditating before the fight. I'd leave him be until it's time to do this. Speaking of which, may I request some time with my comrades? If the battle is starting soon, then some farewells may be in order. He looks at Pro as if his words were some sort of threat. Of course, I don't mean to intrude. As soon as you're ready, we will begin. I'll be in the lobby while I wait for you all. Soon after, we're left alone, just me and my comrades. A tense feeling permeates the air. Things were different now. Even if Ulric and Pro survived, a rift had grown among our ranks. And at this point in time, I'm unsure we can mend it. I gulp as I wait in silence. I wait for someone to speak. It's Pro. He seems to be acting pretty sensible right now. Okay, so let's go over the situation before the fight begins. We need to make sure we understand exactly what's going down. The upcoming alliance will ensure our attack on Balteus hits hard. I'm fighting alongside Dracyu as his champion. The fight is either if him or myself fall in combat. Our reserve forces will consist of the Monarch vessels. On the other hand, Ulric is fighting alongside Vivien as his champion. Razzle will fight in Vivien's reserve forces alongside his army. I might not be as strong as Dracu's, but Vivien isn't about strength. So, my own Monarch vessels? My own homeboys? My squad? Thanks, Pro. If Dracyu wins, the nation will stay exactly the same, but if Vivien leads, he will lead Alarinthia in a new direction. Hopefully, one that ensures that aligns itself with the new monarchy. Pro crosses his arms. Someone will die here today, either Vivien, Dracyu, myself, or Ulric. But these deaths will not be in vain. They'll give our army incredible strength. Their lives will help us reshape this world, or mine. I'm ready to die for this too. We won't stand a chance if we attack Balteus on our own. An alliance is necessary, and this is the best way we can get it. One life today, taken here today, is worth it to change all of Alessia. To finally take this world back from the triumvirate, we must simply hope that the monarch made the right choice. If there even is a right choice in this type of situation. For example, our allegiance with Vivien isn't guaranteed. If Dracyu wins, he won't offer us his men. We sided against him. It's a good possibility, given his reputation in the Colosseum. Pro's really taking charge here. It's impressive. That about sums it up. Me, Ulric, and Razzle will need to go to the arena. Everyone else will be given seats to watch us fight. If this is the last time I see you all, then goodbye, as I'm not serving you. I'm fighting for that freedom. I can only hope that you gain that freedom in the end. He stops talking and stands in the corner of the room, saying nothing. Valeska and Fortem are nodding as if they understand the situation. I can tell they were confused before, so this explanation definitely helped. I don't know much to say. I just want to get rid of Dracyu. I'm not very good at farewells either, so I won't waste your time. Good luck in the future. All of you, I hope to see you again. He gives us all a slight bow before retreating to another corner. This leaves me with Howell, Dominic, Valeska, and Fortem. The Monarch vessels are already waiting by the arena. I'll take everyone to our seats so we can watch you fight. I guess it's on you now, Razzle. Head to the arena. You really need to rush into it like this? Can you take some time to prepare and train? That would be impossible. Alarinthia takes these battles very seriously. Delaying it would insult the honor of all participants. Screw honor, then. I'm not ready to say goodbye just yet. There's still so much we need to do. I shake my head. There's no point in trying to delay this. Whatever happened, happened. I won't be the tipping point. Or I wouldn't be the tipping point. Then don't say goodbye. Simply hope that he survives this battle. Cheer him on from the sidelines. Support him. I guess that's all we can really do. Things will work out for the best, I know it. We're due for some good luck by now. Should we go take our seats? Yeah, we probably should. Monarch? Good luck. He smiles at me before leaving the room. I guess not treating this as a goodbye helped them. It made them feel like they'd be seeing us all again. I wish I could guarantee that, I really do. Valessa, Fortem, and Howell soon follow suit. I'm left here with Ulric and Pro. They're silent. There's no point in bickering at the gates of death. Perhaps they simply accepted what's coming. This battle would start when I went to the arena. A battle that decided the fate of a nation, and by extension the fate of our entire world. This is the first time I felt the weight of my role. I'm a monarch. I'm shaping a world that I'll go on to rule. That is, if I survive the battle in the Colosseum and on Balteus. It's time to take charge. I go to the arena and end this. Whether I lived or died, I make my mark upon this world. Ah, there's a book. There's a book. There's a book and a sword sitting here. Between the two, a small dagger rests there. I go to touch it, but Pro quickly stops me. Hey, don't touch that. It's mine. I plan to use it during the upcoming battle. Never touch a weapon that's not your own. I apologize and set my sights to the book. It seems to be about the Grand Library in Balteus. What's this here? Was somebody studying it? The Grand Library, located in Balteus, is something of an anomaly. While many say it contains literature about Alestia's entire history, nobody has actually set foot inside. Rumors of a mysterious man tending the books are rampart. Could such a collection really be under the watch of one individual? Furthermore, what are the books actually about? Members of the Triumvirate's honor guard ensure that nobody but this mystery man enters the library. But who could he be? Just what is the Triumvirate protecting? Huh. Also, we got a H2H with Pro, so let's do it. I approach Pro, who remains standing in the corner of the room. It looks like he's scared or nervous, but that's understandable. In mere moments, we'd be fighting for the future of our army. A few moments after my steps come to an end, Pro looks at me. Sorrow appears on his face, and he looks like he's filled with regret. Look, I'm sorry for making things complicated. I've been getting looks for everybody. They hate me. I put my life at risk and foolishly offered our own army. We need that army for our final attack on Balteus. Everyone thinks I've condemned us to death, but that's not true. The situation is super complicated. Their vision is so narrow. I wish it didn't have to happen right now, especially after we've been growing closer as friends. I'm guessing that this is it for our friendship, isn't it? This choice will permanently alter your relationship with Pro? Yeah, Pro. I'm afraid this is it. I don't know. I think he likes sleight of hand. He likes trickery. He's slick lick. I don't know if he'd be a slick lick, but he is a slick Rick. Please don't read too far into that. I forgive you, Pro. What? Seriously? Thank you. I was so scared you'd cut things off. I really value our bond, Razzle, I swear. You sided with Vivien, so this was a total gamble. It's good to know we can endure a difference in opinion. Ulric wasn't giving me the same courtesy. I'd think he'd even kill me. But I guess I can understand why he'd do that. This isn't just about an alliance to him. This is his home. He wants to change it for the better, like we all do with Alestia. I know this whole situation is really confusing. To be honest, I don't know every little detail. But as long as we all trust each other, it'll work out. He takes a few steps, closing the distance between us. His eyes are filled with hope now. A stark contrast to moments ago. Thank you so much, Razzle. I know there isn't much time, so we need to get going. But that's all I needed to talk about. I'm good to go. After this battle, we'll have a long chat. There's so much I need to tell you, but I just can't right now. I promise that at the end of the day, this will all make sense. He smiles and makes his way out of the room. I guess it was time. The fight would finally begin. I'm glad my bond with Pro could remain intact. Pro's loyalty scene will be available when you return to the mainland. After the conclusion of Act 4, return to Rebel HQ to the Rebel HQ war table. Ah, well, what do you know? So that was pretty much a make or break moment, it seemed like. Well, here we go, guys. This is it. Don't get scared now. Visiting the Colosseum will cause a long series of cutscenes to play. Doing so will conclude your visit to the region of Alarinthia. Knowing this, would you like to continue to the Act 4 finale? Yeah. Alright. Man, I've been waiting for this for like a while now. I enter the lobby with Ulric and Pro behind me. Our comrades are there, and they immediately turn and stare. An odd aura fills the room, but this definitely is an odd situation. Vivien stands on one side of the room, and Dracyu stands on another. Ulric follows me as I take slow steps towards Vivien, my ally in this battle. If I want to win, I'd have to ensure that him and Ulric stayed alive. So it's finally gonna happen. I've been dreaming about this day for a long time. Do your best out there, Monarch. I got your back. Of course, I have heard rumors about that blade you're carrying. So if you don't mind, I might choose to lean on you for support too. If we all take care of each other, then we'll be unstoppable for sure. I nod. He's right. We need to make our victory. Oh no, we need to make our way to the other side of the Colosseum. Both groups start at opposite ends to meet in the middle. That's where all the chaos ensues. It'll be pretty hectic. I'm counting on it. It's been ages since I've seen a real battle. Do your best to stay out of danger, Razzle. Leave this to us. There's no need for you to risk your life unless you need to. Our targets are Dracyu and Pro. We should do our best to avoid senseless casualties. Vivien's reign should begin with as little bloodshed as possible. I nod and watch as Vivien and Ulric shake hands. It's a bit of a walk, so let's get started. The battle will start in a few minutes, so we need to be there. Some leader I'd be if I showed up late to my own fight. He smiles and we break our huddle, and follow him as we make our way to the gates. The weight on my shoulders is immense and frightening. I notice Westy make his way to my side. He looks me up and down, staring at my blade. Phew, I don't know what they told me. I don't know if what they told me is true, but that blade is some sort of ancient relic. Don't showboat. Oh, I said, look, I don't know if what they told me is true. But if that blade is some sort of ancient relic, don't showboat. Anything other than its strength and strategy will be seen as cheating. That blade may have powers to help you out in Balteus, but not here. Do your best to blade in as a regular combatant, alright? I don't want you putting Vivien in jeopardy out there. That's right, since I don't really have a say in the matter. I suppose the powers of the blade were pretty much cheating. A thrown battle would do little to prove Vivien's credibility. Hey, they didn't say magic was forbidden. What the heck? After a trek that seems like forever, we're at our gates. They shut tight, and I can see another set across from this one. At the other end of the arena, our opponents were waiting just like us. I look over at my allies and gulp. The crowd is roaring with excitement. Our lives were simply entertainment to them. Remember, we're fighting for a better future. Our hopes and dreams will carry us to victory, I know it. Of course, sword arm will be a big help. No need to put on the pressure, Vivien, but I know you're white. This is all I ever wanted, and with you two by my side, I know I'll never fail. He smiles, but that smile is quickly wiped from his face. The gates begin to open, giving us a clear view of the arena. Look at that battlefield! We take a few steps outside of the gates and look around. The crowd goes wild! And that's when all hell breaks loose. The reserve forces rush to the center to create a line of defense. Stay back, Razzle. Let me and Vivien lead the charge. Yeah, just make sure to stay out of danger. We can't have a future ruler falling in battle. Now! I stay back as instructed and let them lead the charge. After a few minutes, everyone meets in the center. All I hear is clashing metal and agonizing screams. It's an absolute massacre, just like... I gasp and take a few steps back, anxiety coursing through me. It feels like I'm right back in Rebel HQ. Everyone is dying! I clutch my chest and start to panic in the arena. My breath short. What's going on? This never happened before. I can't escape this. It feels like it's happening all over again. I shake my head, but nothing helps. I need it to stop. Hey, Monarch, are you okay? I'm unable to respond as enemy shoulders close in on me. Drakyu's reserve forces, our own men, are coming to attack me. Or were they? I have no idea if they'd actually follow through. And thanks to a sudden interruption, I never find out. Razzle! Ulric rushes to my side and pushes me on the ground. I hit the floor with a loud thud and I'm knocked back into coherence. However, this did little else but redirect the attention to him. That was weird. With almost a dozen men charging towards him, he stands his ground. Unsheathing his sword, he sizes up the oncoming attackers. One single swing later, they're all knocked to the ground. It seems he's shown in mercy as they squirm on the ground, injured. I'm not sure what he was calculating, but that was impressive. It was almost like he knew exactly where to swing for maximum effect. It hurts me to see him harm our own, but there's no other choice. Forgive me, Razzle. It was either them or you. I had to make a decision. Give me your hand. We need to keep things moving. I nod and grab his hand. He helps me back on my feet. I have no idea what just happened. Was that a vision or something else? No. There's no time to think about that. We had a battle to focus on. And it was a battle that we were winning. We pushed the opposing forces back towards their side. After a few moments of battle, they're almost backed into a corner. We had them right where we wanted them, or did we? Now! Just when we think we have the upper hand, Dracyu plays his trump card. His forces spread out and quickly run around our flanks surrounding us. We weren't quick enough to react. We were all too close together. Stay close, Razzle. This must be what Dracyu was counting on. If we can break free, then victory is surely ours. They take slow, synchronized steps towards us. We all look for a weakness, but can't find any. In a few moments, they close in on us. This strategy. It seems desperate. That means he doesn't have anything else up his sleeve. Get out of this, Razzle. Use that blade if you have to. They raise their blades and ready themselves to attack. They're so far away, but it's enough to intimidate us. I reach for my own weapon in response and unsheath it. I take slow steps forward, matching their synchronization. They stare at me, confused, and some of them even scoff at me. This was my chance to shine. I had to save us all from this trap. Gripping the blade tightly, I try and figure out how to activate it. As if sensing my instinct, the gear on the base starts to spin fervently. I raise it up in the air and demand that the blade assists us in battle. Immediately after that, a blade of white light overtakes the arena, just like every other time the blade has been used, as if that's its call. However, this flash of white light subsides almost as soon as it began. It seems to leave everybody in the arena blinded. They stagger back, waving their hands over their eyes, unable to see. In their confusion, they step back, revealing a gap in their formation. And that gap is exactly where Dracyu now stands. With my comrades also blinded, it might just be up to me. I grip the blade and watch Dracyu panic in his sight-robbed state. The crowd goes silent, almost in awe of what's going on. All eyes are upon me. They know I used my blade to do this. I gulp, unsure if I should attack or wait for their sight to return. I don't want them to think I'm a coward who needs to disarm their foes. With so many people watching, I need to consider what image to give off. I'd be in the highest sea of power after this war. I need to think. What should I do? We're gonna wait for the blindness to subside and fight back as a team. I don't want to attack Dracyu alone. I mean, he seems to be powerful. So, no, I couldn't rely on the blade to win this battle. It was cheating. Breaking through the attack was enough to put us back on equal ground. That's all we needed to win. We wouldn't get caught off guard again. I prepare to sheath my blade, but then everything changes. I feel a grip on my shoulder, preventing me from moving at all. Turning to face the source of the intrusion, I tremble in fright. It was Ulric. Sorry, I can't have you getting in the way. I have to do this, Razzle. Please forgive me. The grip on my shoulder tightens into something more crushing. His aggression is clear, and for the first time I'm frightened by him. He holds up his blade and repositions his hand to use the base as a weapon. And he smashes it against my face repeatedly? I scream and fall to my knees. Blood pours from my nose. My vision gets hazy, and soon I fall to the ground completely. Looking at the gap in the enemy forces, I see Pro step through. He holds a dagger out at Ulric, who holds his blade out in return. The light still... That's why. The light still blinds most of the other fighters, making this a one-on-one battle. I reach out and try to stop them, but it's no use. They immediately charge at one another. Pain radiates through my entire body, and I'm almost unable to focus. The weapons clash again and again, and I finally see Pro fight. He dodges with grace, almost like watching the moves of the dancer. Give it up, Pro. This is what I was meant to do. Changing Alarinthia means everything to me. I can't let you win, Ulric. We need Dracu's strength to take down the triumvirate. You can always come back and change things after the war. Never. They continue the fight, ignoring each other's pleas. But they'd have to do something quick. The other soldiers are shaking things off. I keep trying to crawl towards them. The battle was in Vivien with Vivien and Dracyu, not each other. Are you really willing to die for this? Think about what Dracyu can help us accomplish. The choice is between fighting alongside Dracyu and death. Then yeah, I'm willing to die for this, Pro, but I have to ask. Are you willing to kill me in the name of my enemy? Of course! He looks nervous, like Ulric is calling out a bluff. He takes slow, intimidating steps towards Pro. In response, Pro starts to panic and step back. If you're willing to kill me, then do it. Show me that our friendship means nothing to you. But we're family. It looks like Pro's about to cry. No, that's just an excuse you made up. You wanted family since your own parents abandoned you. You think we're close, but you mean nothing to me. Why are you saying this? Because I don't believe you're willing to kill me. Well, if I stand here ready to kill you at a moment's notice, that need for friends and family to be loved is your weakness. All I ever wanted was to change this nation for the better. You, Domik, Razzle, you're worth less than pawns to me. So I'll give you one chance to attack me. Take my life or lose yours. Ulric, stop! In response, Ulric readies his blade and steps closer to the Pro. There's nothing I can do anymore. I'm practically choking on my own blood. Any weak cries I emit would be easily overtaken by the chatter of our audience. A chatter that soon turns to roaring applause. Pro lunges forward to attack Ulric, but he quickly counters. Gripping Pro's arm, he quickly seizes a dagger for himself. So that's the way it is, hmm? Oh, you're a fool, Pro. Always were. Slinging his own great sword on the ground, he stares at Pro's eyes. Pro trembles in fear, realizing he was played right into Ulric's hand. He dodged Pro's erratic attack rather than launching his own. Ulric, let me go! As he holds Pro firmly in place, he closes his eyes. I'm sorry it had to come to this. But know that your death will create a better nation, and hopefully that will lead us all to a better world. He plunges the dagger into Pro's gut multiple times. The look on their faces reminded me of Shane and Dominic. But something tells me that Pro wouldn't be as lucky. I can hear him cry and whimper as he falls to the ground. Looks like you were finally good for something. That's the last thing I can remember. Succumbing to grief and agony, I slowly pass out. The crowd goes wild as the soldiers finally overcome their blindness. They're greeted to the side of a victor, but I only see a man who's lost. An empty victory, and one we would surely never recover from. Crying at our loss, my vision fades as I lie in a puddle of my own blood. A fourth immediately rises from the chair and runs over to me. The worry on his face is clear, but everybody breathes a sigh of relief, that is, except for Ulric. He stands in the corner of the room with his arms crossed. After what he just did, I'm not surprised he acts distant. You're so worried, Razzle. We didn't know if you'd recover. Ulric did some damage. Your nose is broken, but give it time, you'll totally be fine. Upon hearing this, Ulric rolls his eyes. I can't believe it. But Pro is dead. Ulric killed him. Our alliance with Vivien was secured, but was it worth it? I normally don't do this, but I substitute this reality and reject it from my own. I'm not going to let my own teammates die, so hopefully, this will be worth it. I'm willing to sacrifice a little bit of honor if it means everybody makes it out of here alive. Attack him directly before they can retaliate. I grab my blade and guide my body to a battle-ready stance. This is it. I was about to decide the fate of Alarinthia. It'd be over without the death of my comrades. I prepare the charge, but then everything changes. Again? I feel a grip on my shoulder, preventing me from moving. Turning the face of intrusion, I tremble in fright. It was Ulric. Wait. No, this can't be it. It's the same dialogue as before, but... No. No. So either way he dies? Did I have to side with Vivien? Or I mean Dracyu? Does somebody die either way? With our alliance finalized, we need to head back to Mazeo. After some swift preparation, we'll launch the final assault on Balteus. This is it. We've come from this with more soldiers than ever. Haas steps forward and enters the conversation as well. The triumvirate would not expect us to recover this quickly, but where we stand, stronger than ever before, we can win this war. We would advise not mulling over the sacrifice it secured our victory. Yeah, Pro may not have sided with Vivien, but he sided with us. We're still going to secure the future he was fighting for. Alestia's future. He's a dear friend, and this loss will give me more power, more resolve. A good outlook. Wasting time to mourn could cost us this entire war. We must make our way to the docks and meet with Vivien, focusing on things that are within our control, Razzle. Before we go, I have a question to ask. He looks over at lowercase Ulric, who exchanges an awkward glance. Ulric, why did you do this? You could have waited and went after Dracyu. Everyone looks shocked, but I know it's something we're all thinking. Without a single word, Ulric shakes his head and walks out of the room. Hey, I asked you a question, you coward! It's no use, he's already long gone. Back at the docks, as I know he won't abandon us. As bad as his actions were, he still seems to serve our cause. Fortum. I know we have an alliance or whatever, but who cares? We lost one of our friends. Why is nobody even sad? We'll have plenty of time to grieve after this war is over. We've lost plenty, and I'm sure we'll be losing even more. But if we give up hope and mope around, we'll lose everything. We're not forgetting about him, Fortum. We just have more important things to Yeah, go to hell! Come on, one of our own comrades just died. Seriously. I'm with you, Fortune. See, I knew he was a good boyfriend. Me and him, we're on the same freaking... We're operating on the same frequency, man. Like, we're both wondering the same thing. You know, our own... I mean, like, Ulric didn't even, like, slit the... Like, Ulric could have just, like, slit the guy's throat or give him a painless end. No, he had to freaking go and just gangster shank the guy, like, multiple times. Like, you know, he could have planted the dagger in the middle. I mean, these are all gruesome, but, like, there was less painful ways to kill him. There really was. That's part of the problem, Valesso. I don't even know what home is anymore. That's Falanorth and then Mazeo, but everything around us is getting destroyed. Then I thought home was being with our friends, but now they're dying, Valesso. Nobody knows how to respond to Fortum's words. An awkward silence fills the room, but he gets the idea. Fine. Forget I even said anything. We were betrayed, plain and simple, by one of our own. May have gotten us alliance, but it's still a betrayal. And in my books, people like that deserve to be punished. So you can push this aside or whatever, but I won't. This is a crime that needs to be answered for. After saying that, he storms out of the room. I suppose he was right, but it's really not that simple. There's no point in arguing, so we all start to leave. I guess maybe venting like that could help. Let's just get it out of the way while we're walking, alright? Every moment we waste makes our enemy more prepared. Everyone seems to agree, and we all shuffle out of the room. As I begins a long and arduous journey back to the docks. However, instead of hope, this trek would be filled with a feeling of despair. Our entire party remains in silence until we arrive at the Oasis. Having gone through all our water, we need to fill up immediately. We're all sweating, clearly exerted by our journey through the desert. Well, it's time for a brief break. Let's get some water and head to the docks. If I remember correctly, this means we're halfway there. We all nod and start filling up our canteens with water. But while I do, I pay attention to what's going on around me. Ulric makes sure he's standing beside Fortum while he fills up on water. Fortum notices this and seems visibly angry. It's totally understandable, though. What do you want? I just wanted to apologize, Fortum. You'll understand soon. I had no choice. There's no way you're sorry, Ulric. I saw no hint of remorse on your face when you killed him. And even now that you're apologizing, you don't look sad at all. That's not true. I'm being serious here. Well, so am I. Just leave me alone, Ulric. We'd all be better off without you. Ulric takes a step back, hurt by Fortem's words. If he wasn't sad before, then he definitely is now. Fine. He walks away from Fortem, considering the conversation over. As harsh as Fortem's words were, I think he's saying what's on a lot of our minds. Almost everyone has been treating him with disdain since the battle ended. After we're all done gathering water, Fortem approaches me. He looks so conflicted. After all, he's the only one being vocal about the situation. Especially after his outburst just now. He's starting to wonder if he's being too emotional. Come on, Razzle. You have my back on this, right? What happened was way out of line. I know everyone is focusing on the war right now, but I just can't do that. There's too much to take in. What should we do? Are you going to forgive this? I'm so shocked I don't know what to think right now. Maybe I'm just processing this faster than everybody else. I know it's hard because of how close we all are, but a crime is a crime, plain and simple. Friends shouldn't get a free pass to commit atrocities. I don't care if other people forgive him, I never could. He needs to be punished like any other criminal. I shrug, unsure of how to respond to that last part. He did kill a comrade, but it secured us a powerful alliance. We have to wonder if such actions cancel each other out. One life gave us all the power we need to win this war, but at the same time, is it right to reduce a life to something like that? A bargaining chip on some sort of table containing all of our lives? Something we'd have to talk about as an entire group. I may be in charge. This affected everybody, not just me. So I let Fortem know. It's the only right way to handle this. Alright, but just take my advice. Don't do it while everybody is still in shock. Let them process these events and form an opinion. I nod. It seems like we're all ready to continue. Since we're halfway to the docks, we'd have a long time to think. But something tells me no time in the world will let us sort this out. My head throbs as the painkillers start to wear off around the Oasis, while coherence fades in and out, as though my body still moves and I'm barely conscious. Before I know it, we're already back at the docks. I don't miss anything of note. What should have took a portion of the entire day seemed like mere moments to me. Our group scatters about, but not too far. We're all within earshot of each other. I notice our new ally is waiting by the ship. Dominic approaches him. Vivien, there you are. How does it feel to be the one in power? It's hard to believe, actually. I expect that it'll set in after the upcoming battle. I haven't had my word, so I need to help you out first. Wait, don't tell me you're coming with us. Don't you have things to take care of over here? Something that can't wait a few days. The attack is happening pretty soon, right? I can leave things in the hands of a few friends for now. Fair enough, and yeah, you're right. We plan to launch the attack within a day or two. Once we get to Mazeo, we'll need to take care of business. I mean, final goodbyes and stuff like that. After we leave for Balteus, we may never return. We need to make sure that we leave with no regrets. Have a little faith, Dominic. If anybody can take down those gods, it's us. We just overthrew an entire nation. That's a good sign. After that moment, we're interrupted by the last person I'd ever thought I'd see. Gods? Don't make me laugh. You know just as well as I do they're weak like us. The true power rests with the one who could wield that blade. We all stop what we're doing and look towards the source of the noise. Terribly sorry to intrude, but I need to have a word with the monarch. He doesn't know I'm a monarch. With Razzle. Be so kind as to give us some privacy. I'd be forever grateful. It's Sophie! I immediately assume a battle stance. Fright quickly overtakes the air. This was bad. I'm not sure who remembers him from the rebel headquarters. I'm not sure if all my comrades had seen him before. But they heed my warning and assume stances similar to mine. A hostile greeting. I don't blame you. You're only treating me the way I treated you. He takes a few steps forward, and I do so as well. I notice he looks at Dominic, a man he thought it was dead. A hint of emotion shows on his otherwise cold face as he does this. So after this hostility, I expect mercy. Remember, if it weren't for me, you'd be dead. He immediately gets on his knees and holds out his wrists. I submit to your authority. Restrain me any way you wish. I only want to talk. When you get back to Mazeo, we can go our separate ways. I'm shocked by his actions. I expected another fight to ensue. I look around at my comrades, unsure of what to do in this situation. It was clearly a trap, right? What business would he have with us? Vivien, restrain this man immediately. Take him to the brig and make sure he can't escape. He's unarmed and alone, so do it before he starts anything. Vivien does as instructed, and Ulric takes matters into his own hands. It's probably for the best. He seemed to know Sophie better than any of us. Sophie had no allies present, no honor-guard soldiers. Right now he was weak. Once we set sail, come and talk to me, Razzle. I have some information you might want to hear, including the true identity of the mole among your forces. He's dragged away with what I interpret as a sinister smirk. It's likely that he couldn't be trusted. That's obvious psychological warfare. Turn us against our own friends, and we destroy each other from the inside. an obvious attempt to sabotage our impending attack on Balteus. But if we restrained him and kept watch on him, we had a valuable asset. The triumvirate's own Grand Inquisitor. That would make a fine bargaining chip. Sorry about that, but we need to get out of here and fast. If we stay in Alarinthia any longer, they might figure us out. And Sophie definitely can't hear what I'm about to tell you. What does he mean? Come closer, everybody. I'm afraid I've been keeping a secret from all of you. But it's not just me. Hold on a second, you'll see what I mean. We'll look around, clueless as to what he's talking about. But following his instruction, we all inch our way towards him. He tilts his head to the side, looking behind one of the nearby trees. And with what happens next leaves us all speechless in another shock. You can come out now. And then from behind a group of trees steps out a man. They have a cloak covering their body, which they slowly drop to the ground.
They played us like a damn fiddle!
I'm sorry, you what? What? Oh man, it's about time. There's nothing I hate more than hiding. Sorry for worrying you all, but we had to do it. Pull an Ulric high five and then give each other a tight embrace. Yeah, I'm not the best actor, you know. I think people are starting to see through our lies. Before Pro can do anything else, he's bombarded with hugs from all our comrades. The man they thought was killed in cold blood now stands before them. I'm shocked, confused, but also a little relieved. What the hell was going on here? Hey, come on, cut it out. It's enough to know you missed me. We really need to get going fast. Yeah, if they find out we cheated, we're done for. I know you want an explanation, so let's talk about it on the ship. We should set sail right away so nobody catches on to us. They start to walk towards the ship, but Dominic stops them. Wait. You cheated? How are we going to break this news to our new partner? If they find out, they might just break off our alliance. It worked out in their benefit, so I doubt they'd care. That's going. We'll explain the story on our way home. I'm confused. Don't worry about it, Dominic. We made this out without any casualties, really. A few members of the reserve forces died, but that's about it. Better not have been any of my squadra. If you guys got La Squadra killed, I'm gonna be so upset. Those are my homeboys. Alright. Thankfully, okay. There we go. Thankfully, none of the Monarch vessels fell. That's what I'm gonna call them now. I'm gonna call them La Squadra. And if you know what I'm referencing, you're awesome. We have more strength than ever before, and that's what matters. Attacking Balteus will be as easy as the snap of a finger. Alright, then I trust you. But you better have a good explanation for all of this. Let's get going, everybody. We have a long voyage home. Dominic, Ulric, and Pro all get on the ship. They start to walk over with Howell, and Fortem. They all seem happy, but just as confused as I am. Cheating is not something we agree with. Such tactics are what our current enemy employs. This journey seems to be changing all of your values. He's still alive. That's great news. I was really freaking out. I didn't know what to do. Don't tell me you think it'd be better if he was dead. Maybe. Means to an end, we suppose. The enemy likely thinks the same way. With that, he walks away and gets on the ship. Les and Fortem both turn to me happy. Let's go find out what they have to say. I'm mostly curious about the other man we restrained. There's so much going on right now I can barely think. Yeah, I want to figure everything out. I was worried we'd be attacking Balteus without all of our friends. But to know he's still alive? I can't even begin to describe the relief. We make our way to the deck of the ship, but Les's words stick with me. Everything was moving so fast, I didn't know what was going on. Thankfully, we had a long trip home to get everything figured out. After that was my goal. We need to get back to Mazeo with no questions left unanswered. No matter how shocking the answers were, whether or not I regret learning them. We seem to be running on everybody's agenda but my own. Everyone had their plans. It's time for that to change. When we all get on the ship, it starts to settle within moments. It seems Ulric and Pro wanted to expedite our departure from Alarinthia. They continued to look at us with smiles on their faces. To themselves, they had succeeded. Well, what exactly? That's what I demand to know as I step forward. If I was in charge, I couldn't have them plotting behind my back. Everybody gathers around to listen as our ship gently rocks back and forth. Though relieved that there were no real casualties, we needed to know what they got into. They wanted to leave so fast. Was it so bad that we could never come back to Alarinthia? Whoa, it's not that bad, trust me. but it's definitely the biggest score of my life. I mean, swindle an entire nation? Amazing. Pardon my French, but you son of a... I knew he had something planned, but this is like some Payday 2 level of swindling. Like, for those of you who've seen the true final ending, the Payday 2 is just... Wow. Wow. Oh man, the kids are gonna love hearing about this one. But if me and Fortum are... If we get married, we wouldn't have kids. We can adopt. He continues talking, his pride apparent. It all started after the attack on our HQ. Dominic cheated death when we rose from the ashes. Then we were going to Alarinthia, where I knew we'd be fighting. So I thought, what if we could cheat death again, but to our advantage? There's so much room for error that we stepped in to even odds. I knew that Ulric would side with Vivien regardless, so I went to him. I didn't want to work with Pro at first. It seemed like a plan doomed to failure. Could we really cheat an entire nation right in front of our own eyes? Obviously, it sounds impossible, but Pro is pretty insistent. He came with a solid plan. I'd fight with Vivien, and he'd fight with Dracyu. If we were both on opposing teams, we could throw the battle in any direction. So that's what we did. We ensured victory for the side that Razzle chose. It was easy enough to manipulate Dracyu. I mean, he thought he was the one manipulating us, but it was my plan all along to fight by his side. After that, all we needed was this. He holds up a dagger, the same one he used in the Colosseum. Stabbing it through his hand, that's when the true nature of the weapon was revealed. Rather than pierce his hand, the blade sunk into the handle of the dagger. It was a fake. Along with some chaos and acting, they believed the battle was over. The chaos, of course, was the moment Razzle used the blade. We pushed you towards using it so we could have an opportunity. That's really all there is to it. None of you could know until it was already over. If the information was leaked, everything would be for nothing. You're free to come back to Alarinthia, but we might stay behind. It was just in our best interest that we get away before they figured things out. So yeah, a new alliance, miserable casualties, and a great story. I'd say this was all around success, wouldn't you? Yeah, I can't believe we really pulled it off. I think this might be my masterpiece. They wait in silence for a response, but their faces are beaming with pride. It seems like a simple enough plan, but it was definitely risky. The moment we set foot in the Colosseum, they were in real danger. But that only shows off their resolve. They're willing to die for this. However, something feels off about this. It's not too perfect, too convenient, I'm not sure. Ulric was willing to throw everything away? I mean, I sided with Vivien, but that wasn't a guarantee. Had I sided with Dracyu, he'd lose his chance to change Alarinthia. There had to be more to the story, something they're not telling us. I'd have to talk to them in private later on. Maybe they can confide in me. But as it stood, I really didn't buy their tale. Would they really risk their lives for a foreign alliance? My comrades seemed to sing so, and they showered them with praise. That might be the coolest thing I've ever heard. I knew you were a swindler pro, but this is crazy. You're using your skill to shape Alessia's history. And Ulric, I never knew you were so good at acting. You really had me sold there. I almost can't believe it. It felt like something was up, but to think it was this? Almost hurts my strategizing the shame, I have to say. So what's the next step? Is it just smooth sailing now? I imagine our chances of getting caught are pretty low. I should probably tell Vivien what really went down. I doubt he'd mind, and at least he wouldn't find out another way. In the meantime, we need to have a word with our new prisoner. Right, I'll tell him while you do that then. But I think I've also earned some much needed rest. Let's take the day off and meet back up here in the morning. That is, if it's okay with you, Razzle. I nod and tell everybody that they're dismissed. Everybody runs off except Ulric and Pro. They approach me and they look anxious. So he's in the brig, right? I can't believe he surrendered just like that. And I heard him say something about a mole? Let's go talk with him, Razzle. You deserve some answers. Yeah, let Dominic pamper Vivien for the time being. We'd head to the brig. Look behind us, Razzle. Certainly look like an impressive army, isn't it? I too was instructed and noticed that we're accompanied by at least a dozen ships. If that was the strength of our new Alarinthian army, that was a loss for words. That fleet combined with our own and my blade has a real chance of Balteus, but I can't lull myself to a false sense of security. There's still so much to do. Okay, so we actually get to talk to him. I was fast forwarding because I was like, I don't want to be like, oh, this isn't available. Like, this is, you know, our brig is dark and we can't see much at all. It is until our eyes adjust and we immediately see Sophie. He's broken free from his binds and is doing pull-ups. Okay, Uncle Iroh. Running with exertion, he lets himself fall to the ground when he notices our interest. Taking a few steps towards us, he is careful not to make any sudden movements. Pro makes sure the cell door is shut and locked, so he can't escape from us. I wasn't expecting an entourage. Should I be flattered or concerned for my safety? An obvious attempt at humor, but none of us acknowledge this. Ulric steps forward, demanding swift answers from our captive. Explain yourself, Sophie. I'm seconds away from throwing you overboard. Again with the hostility. Look, I don't even really know what I'm doing here. It felt like the right thing to do, given the circumstances. What circumstances? Sophie looks at me and shakes his head dismissively. Back when we attacked your HQ in Museo, my goal was to kill your friend and retrieve the blade. I failed both objectives, and the triumvirate punished me. I see. That's true. Sophie did show me mercy during our brief encounter. He had my life in his hands, but he chose to run away instead. He saw something when he touched the blade, I could tell. And now that I knew the truth of the spirit realm, I think I knew what he saw. The monarchy. He must have seen the same truth that shocked all of us. I asked if it's true. Almost certain that I'm correct. You are correct. I found out that the triumvirate was lying to me. I let you live because I wasn't sure what to do next. I'm still uncertain. When I got back to Balteus, they punished me by placing me in exile. You expect us to believe this? Sophie, you're nothing but a mindless slave. The monarch survived because of his strength. I tell Ulric that Sophie is speaking the truth. I explain what happens while we were alone near the idol. See, Ulric, you're always so paranoid. Listen to your friends before making snap judgments. I have a lot to say, so you better learn to trust me again. Don't count on it. He walks away and stands in a nearby corner. Sensing an opportunity, Pro enters the conversation. So what do you want to tell us? Around here, you need to earn your keep. Ulric was serious about throwing you overboard. Well, this is where it gets complicated. I still consider myself a servant of the triumvirate, but Halen, well, I want nothing more than to see him fall. I'm not here to hurt any of you, not this time. As you can see, even though I broke out of my mind, I'm playing nice. Right now, all I can offer is information to aid your attack on Balteus. And why would you want to help us take down the triumvirate? Doing so would involve taking down Halen as well. He sold me out and got me into this whole mess. Okay, and say we take down Halen, what then? You'd just be reinstated as Inquisitor and stab us in the back. You speak as if people aren't capable of playing both sides. Either way, I don't know. I'll make my choice when the time comes. And what makes you say that so easily? You served the triumvirate for your entire life. No. Not my entire life. They welcomed me with open arms when I was young and broken. Now here they are inflicting the same wounds they'd promised to heal. Is that supposed to make sense to me? No, because it barely makes sense to me. Now, Pro, will you let me say what I have to say? Sure. Sophie sighs, and he crosses his arms. If you want to take down the triumvirate, you have to enter their chambers. I've never seen them leave, and I don't expect they ever will. I always thought they were hiding, but I don't think that's true. There's something at the back of their chambers. Something off. But the sight of it fills me with fear. I'm not sure what it is, but I have a few theories about it. I'm shocked. He's actually telling the truth. I've seen this idol in the visions of the triumvirate. Could it really be true? Is he doubting his masters? I think that maybe it's a source of power. But I'm probably wrong, as it seems to be the trend lately. Either way, destruction should be your top priority. It lines up with what I was told in my visions. But I wasn't sure if those visions were tricks. In them, I was drawn towards a special idol. A spirit idol in their own chambers. But those are conduits of the monarchy. It makes no sense to keep one close by. Their main goal is to destroy all the idols. Nice try, but I'm not going to believe any of this. Let's go, Razzle. We'll ditch him in Museo. Pro and Ulric start to leave, but I tell them to stop. I let them know that Sophie's telling the truth as well as it sounded. I saw the same idol in visions I had of the Triumvirate's chambers. Visions of the Triumvirate's chambers? When are you going to tell us about this? Sophie scoffs, clearly amused at their reactions. I'm not finished yet. Our attention is directed back towards him. I suggest your attack focuses on entering their chambers. There you could take down both of them and this dark idol. However, you would have to fight your way through Halen. And that's where my next piece of information comes in. Halen may seem like you and I, but he's not. The triumvirate created him with that so he's an automaton. What? He was made to be the perfect soldier. He would always serve his masters no matter what. Little did I know that loyalty was stronger than our friendship. He promised not to tell them what happened, but the moment we got home, he sold me out immediately. He lives under the triumvirate's thrall, a true mindless slave. We must never let them get their hands on that blade again. They aren't limited to suits of armor. They've mastered it enough to create life. Of course, the first test was Halen. They needed someone trustworthy to serve them. I think they did it to ensure that nobody else ran away. My previous master, the former Grand Inquisitor, defected. I trusted Halen and the Triumvirate. They all betrayed me. But there's your information. I'm sure it will help you out. Possible weakness, the true nature of Halen. With that blade, you could even give him freedom. I would release the spell. It would release the spell the Triumvirate has put on him. Of course, that's not how I'd like things to play out. He smirks at me, and I can sense what he's about to say. I'd prefer if you let me kill him, Razzle. That's all I ask for return. I won't get in your way. If you grant me this, I'd be further in your debt. We all look at each other, slightly confused. The Triumvirate created Halen to be a perfect slave. I guess it makes sense, especially if they dealt with defection. But just what was this idol at the back of their chambers? And was destroying it really the best course of action? I guess we wouldn't find out until the very end of things. So do you trust me? We all nod reluctantly. These facts were revelations, but they helped. If I could free Halen, he might end up being a valuable asset. However, the idol remained a true wildcard in all of this. If I ever got the chance to talk to the Triumvirate, I'd ask them. But something tells me, when for face-to-face, it won't be civil. And for all I know, it's such a trick. The idol could be a red herring. Good. Because I have two more things to talk about. And now that I've earned your trust, you have no reason to doubt them. I saved them best for last because, well, it involves dishonesty amongst your ranks. Must be about that mole you mentioned. I tell him to quit dancing around the subject and tell me already. We had a lot of planning to do for our final attack in very little time. Well then, do you two want to tell him, or should I? Pro and Ulric suffer in silence, clearly in a state of unease. What's Sophie talking about? There's no way Ulric and Pro are dishonest. They've served Dominic and Solace for decades. They're easily the most trustworthy. I guess it's time. I'll go first. Ulric steps forward, taking a deep breath. Sophie watches with his signature smirk. My allegiance is with the rebellion, I can promise you that. But that wasn't always the case. It's all in the past. Ages ago. Sophie is trying to harm our trust with ancient information, Razzle. I knew this was going to happen. He'd earned your trust with a couple interesting facts, then attack. This is subterfuge. My past has no bearing on his current loyalty. On my current loyalty. But I know this secret would come out sooner or later. That's the real reason I said it with Pro to cheat in the Colosseum. You know my loyalty was with you no matter what. That much is true. He had no guarantee that I'd side with Vivien. He didn't have to in the end, but I was willing to abandon his dreams. That's proof enough of his loyalty, but I was still concerned. Delaying as always. He's scared of you, Razzle. He knows you might throw him away. No. No, Razzle would never do that. Not after what I did for our cause in Alarinthia. So go ahead, Sophie. Watch your plan crumble and fall. I notice the weight lift itself from my back. The blade disappears from his scabbard. Sophie's doing it again. However, much to my surprise, that's not what happens again. Ulric sighs in both relief and fright as the blade appears in his hands? I take a few steps back, shocked. How in the world was this possible? Grand Inquisitor... I'm sorry, I need another one. And if you're wondering, it's Rabbit Hole Straight Bourbon Whiskey finished in sherry casks. Pretty nice stuff. I'm sorry, you what? That was lifetimes ago. Ancient history. He's using a dead past to try and hurt us, Razzle. Ulric was a Grand Inquisitor? Then he must be the defector that Sophie mentioned. The pieces of all this are starting to fall into place. I realized the triumvirate was my true enemy. That's when I decided to join the rebellion. You really thought this would work, Sophie? I never said I was intending to hurt you. This was merely information that might help you in Balteus. Ulric has inside knowledge, Razzle. You can wield the blade. It's your choice if you let this information hurt you. But, in your situation, I would be relieved to know. There was no need to keep any more secrets. I'm so confused right now. Was Sophie helping or trying to hurt us? I can see how you might think that Ulric's past would harm our trust, but I can also see how sharing this information would help us out. Furthermore, the way Ulric handled the situation was extremely professional. Under any of those circumstances, I might have taken this information badly. But he's right. It's in the past. He's gone to prove his loyalty to me. The happenings in Alarinthia finally make sense to me. He was securing my trust when the secret came to light. Genius, really. I'll have to deal with him more later on, though. This conversation had potential to explode, and I'm glad it didn't. I know Ulric's real plan, but Pro remains a wild card. What is he after? I turn to face him, and he takes that as a signal that it's his turn to talk. Ulric passes the blade back to me, and I place it in the scabbard. Pro looks worried. Perhaps the secret was worse than Ulric's? Go on. Tell Razzle, Pro. It's time for him to know, don't you think? He gulps before speaking. So I guess I'll start from the beginning. My parents abandoned me. They didn't die in the occupation like I tell everyone. I always wanted to know one thing, why? None of my searches gave me any useful information. So, over time, I grew more and more desperate. One day, the triumvirate reached out to me. He looks down ashamed. They said they knew the truth about my parents, but in exchange they wanted me to give them information. Details about the rebellion. It seemed like a harmless exchange. Pro was the mole. But over time, they started to ask for more and more. I gave them so many secrets, but got nothing in return. It wasn't much longer before I quit. I had enough of their lies. But the damage was already done, wasn't it? Yeah. What was the last thing you leaked to them, Pro? The location of our new HQ, the tunnels. It was a good hideout, right under their noses. They'd never find it unless somebody told them. I'm shocked to my core. If Pro leaked our location, then that means... That's right, Pro was responsible. His leak enabled us to attack you in Museo. All those lives. The blood is in his hands. No, like I said, I quit. They lied to me. They knew nothing about my parents. All they wanted was somebody gullible enough to serve them. It doesn't change what happened, Pro. Now, Monarch, how do you take this? I proved my loyalty. Just like Ulric. There was no guarantee we'd survive the Colosseum. Though much was true, I knew everything was too good to be true. The reasons they did what they did were all self-serving. It was so they could defend themselves as they were exposed. With an ulterior motive like that, were they really trustworthy? Ulric's past was easy to forgive, but what Pro did to all of us, I'd have no idea how to react. Sophie was fighting a war in my mind. But look, I made up for what I did. All those lives we lost, I gave them back and more. Alarinthia and allies will help us win this war, hands down. I nod, acknowledging his point, but I need more time to think about this. But they had secrets. Did my other comrades too? I'm starting to doubt the loyalty of everyone around me. I need to stop. That's probably what Sophie wants me to do. I need to ensure everyone's loyalty before we leave to Balteus. Ulric was the previous Grand Inquisitor? Pro is a mole? Responsible for the attack at Museo? How was I supposed to deal with all this right before the final battle? I asked Ulric and Pro to leave me alone with Sophie. We get some rest. I made on the deck in the morning. One big gathering before I arrived in Museo would help. I can see the worry on their faces. I tell them I'm not throwing them away. As they leave, the worry is still there, however. Their secrets are finally out. I don't know if anybody else knew, but I guess it was enough. I was in charge. I turn back to Sophie, who crosses his arms. So much dishonesty in the air, wouldn't you agree? I want you to look at your comrades and then look at me. Unlike them, I've been nothing but honest with you. I'd rather have an honest enemy than a cheating friend. That's part of why I wanted to talk with you, Razzle. I know that we can be open with one another. I shake my head, unsure of how to respond. I tell him I need some rest, some time alone. So much is happening all at once, I need a break. Very well. We're meeting on the deck come morning, then. I'll make sure to be on my best behavior. I respect... How does he know I'm the monarch? I always told myself that I'd serve the rightful rulers of this world. It just seems like I was also lied to by the triumvirate. Just like Ulric and Pro. We're victims here, all of us. I really realized it late, but was it too late? I guess we'll see. His attitude seems to have changed now that we're alone. And for the first time I can sympathize with him. He's hurt and lost. Just like all of us. We're trying to do what we believe is right. I tell him he's free to join us at the meeting in the morning. But everybody will be told who he is. It'll be up to me to decide how they take it. If the majority of my comrades want him gone, we'll have to part ways in Museo. Very well, that's only fair. Have a good rest, Monarch. He bows to me as I turn to leave the cell. I make sure it's locked tight. He'll be let out in the morning. For now, I need to be alone with my thoughts. I need to process everything. Oh man, this is just a whirlwind here. I'm sure Valessa and Wartem aren't hiding anything. They're my homeboys. Still going on. Everybody's standing there, as if they're waiting for me to arrive. They all exchange glances with Sophie. Unease fills the air. I don't blame them for being reserved right now, not at all. They all turn to face me, and that's when I hand the floor to Sophie. If he wanted to help us out, he'd have to win over my entire crew. The choice was with me, but their input was important. All of us gathered around in a sort of circle. This means he can easily address all of us. I'm curious what he had to say. A lot is on the line. My name is Sophie. I am or was the Grand Inquisitor of the Triumvirate. I no longer serve them. I was betrayed by my apprentice. He sold me out, forcing my masters to place me in exile. They threw me away. Everything they ever told me was a lie. I thought they were Alestia's rightful rulers. But then I figured out that wasn't true. The heir to the throne is Razia Jadestar. I'm a victim of their tyranny. As you are, all of you. I hope you understand. I'm a little at a loss. I don't really know what to do with myself, but coming here to meet you and Razzle seemed like a good idea. Last night, I also revealed some information that could help you in your upcoming attack. I just need to know that I belong somewhere. Attacking the triumvirate will involve taking down Halen. We share a common purpose, at least until he's taken care of. After that, I don't really know. I've always pledged my loyalty to the rightful ruler of Alestia. Logic would dictate that I now serve the monarch, but I don't know. The triumvirate can throw people away at the snap of a finger, but I'm not like that. What they did has hurt me almost beyond repair. I will help you attack Balteus and help take down Halen. You have my word. But after that, I don't know what will happen. In that sense, I am both an asset and a liability. If you want me to leave, that's what I'll do. When we get to Mazeo, you'll never see me again, that is unless you want my help. I can offer valuable intel. It's a gamble for both you and me. I don't fully trust you either. But hopefully I've earned a sliver of trust with Razzle. If he vouches for me, then hopefully I will serve you as well. Oh, then hopefully you as well, that is all. My fate is in your hands. I have nothing else to say. He crosses his arms, waiting for a reply. My comrades are all shocked and confused, save for Pro and Ulric. I asked them to step forward one by one, and offer their thoughts on this. For once I have the grasp on the entire situation, this is how things should be. Like Sophie said, I was a rightful ruler. I couldn't have people being dishonest and plotting behind my back. I honestly didn't expect this, but nothing has been normal lately. I'm willing to give Sophie a chance. I did the same thing with Grizz. His defection marked a turning point for a cause, a big one. If he can help us out, then I think we need to accept it. And if he turns against us, then he's easily outnumbered. The potential for benefits outweighs the potential risks. This is clearly a trap. We request you deny his assistance. He's alone now, but he won't be when we arrive in Balteus. If we give him information, he'll turn on us once we get there. Surely we aren't the only one who thinks this way. An alliance with our enemy mere days before our attack is too convenient. Sophie is playing us for a fool. I'm with Howell on this one. We can't work with the enemy. This is a man that killed you and burned down Valorith in your vision. I know it's a trick, but the man is insane. He's a trained killer. For that reason, I'll have the mechanics of this offer. Fortem, you're with me, right? Fortem, come on. Come on. We've been operating on the same frequency. Be with me here. I don't know, Valessa. I think everyone deserves a second chance. We all had that moment when we turned against the triumvirate. Why is it hard to believe that Sophie might have that moment? He worked so closely with them, he's seen their true nature. He has more knowledge on them than anybody else in our army. It makes sense he'd come to the same realization than us. I mean, sure, it took a while longer, but that's because he served them. When you remove the exclusive loyalty, it becomes perfectly clear. Yeah, I'm with Fortem. Everyone deserves a second chance. We've all been there before, we've all made a wrong decision or two, and there's no better way to make up for it than doing the right thing. Sylvie isn't concerned with doing the right thing. He's a liar, plain and simple. There's no way you can trust him. He turned on us the moment we arrived in Balteus. That's a guarantee. Letting him close to us now is only to enable him to gather information. It's a death sentence. Don't be foolish. You've gone too far to risk this. Seems like our comrades are divided, but with good reason. I was hoping for something more unanimous in any given direction. But it's clear that the final decision and pressure rested on my shoulders. Well, Razzle. I'm gonna regret this. I know it. But you can join the rebellion. It was a risk I was willing to take for our cause. The information he could offer would make us so much stronger. If we got suspicious of him before the attack, we could easily outnumber him. Very well. He takes a few steps back and rests against the edge of the boat. A few minutes later, after everything was said and done, we arrive in Museo. The docking process is short, since our pirate allies are masters of the art. Dominic steps forward, filling in the silence that overtook our ranks. Well, this is it. Ready to attack Balteus. Everything I've ever wanted is finally within our grasp. The voyage will take a day or two. Whoops. So we can plan on the way. For now, we need to ensure that we have no stone unturned. Visit with your loved ones, say your goodbyes, because this is it. Once we leave Balteus, our fates are as good as sealed. Our true task was accepting our possible death. This means saying goodbye and spending a final day or two with our friends. Let's use this opportunity to make sure everybody is prepared for the final battle. I don't think there's anything left to say. Finish your business, and we'll set sail when the monarch demands it. Razzle, act under the assumption that you only have a day or two before departure. I don't want to rush anything as important as a goodbye, but every moment we waste is a moment for our enemy to prepare. I trust we'll find a happy medium and embark without regret. It's right in front of me. This is it. Our journey was in its final hours. I was tense with worry. We make our way off the boat, embracing it with little time we had left. Troop morale has risen by 10%. We are now at 20% morale. Awesome. Howell has a fourth heart-to-heart that is hidden in one of the previous areas. Sophie, it's not permanent that you joined our party. A series of heart-to-hearts have now been hidden all over Alessia. Note that I mentioned HEH and loyalty season around this building. Rip. Look at that little dude running. Moves for the world map? Yes. Oh, so it's all of our choices that we made. Oh, that's a corruption choice? Oh, so we can You're not ready to earn Sophie's loyalty. So I guess whether or not Sophie turns on us just depends on if we can find the hidden HTHs. So it seems like the fight is on to earn loyalties, find Howell's hidden HTH, Sophie's hidden HTHs, and see if I can win the loyalty of all my friends. So, thank you for joining me on this freaking whirlwind. The past hour and 30 minutes have just been nuts beyond belief. So, I mean, what else have I got to say? Let's see what happens when more content is added. I mean, let me know what you guys think. Did I make the right choices or stupid choices? Let me know what you think in the comments, and I really got nothing else to say other than bravo, Klace. Bravo. The writing on this is god tier. I'm really getting a kick out of it. So, my name is Russell Joestar. My friends, I'll see you in the next episode, and take care, and I'll see you later.